We're live with Lunch Break Live. Chef Lucia, take it away. Let's get cooking.
Hi, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm in red to commemorate this day of love. And the recipe I'm showing to you today, shaped in a heart, is Tartufo di Gelato from Calabria, from Pizzo, Calabro, which is very close to where my parents were born in Italy. So it's a very easy recipe, and it's great if you are last minute, if you're a last minute Valentine's Day planner. This is great. You can go to the store right now, get the few ingredients you need, and make this delicious dish for your loved one or for yourself or whomever. I have two flavors here. I have bittersweet dark chocolate and I have mocha. The traditional flavor is hazelnut. So I couldn't find that readily, but I think chocolate and mocha are great flavors for today.
Love it. Cook it. Go for it.
What we're going to need is some coconut milk, full fat, or coconut cream. And what you do is you just pour it in a saucepan, and you heat it on medium high until it starts to until it sizzles. So I have a little bit of clumps in here, which we don't want. So I'm stirring it. Do you see this? And it actually heats up really fast. So that won't take long at all. The next thing you're going to need is vegan chocolate chips. I have these dark chunks here, which are fine. They melt really well. Okay, so now you'll see this is sizzling. It's kind of, can you see that? It's kind of simmering. So what I'm going to do is take that off the heat. I turn the heat off, pour in my chocolate chips, give it a little stir, and let it sit there for a second so that it melts. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to show you. I have these two different ice creams, and I left them out a little bit so that they will melt because we're going to form them. You'll need ice cream, whatever flavor you want is fine. And then this is what we're going to make. What we're making now is a chocolate ganache. And this has solidified a bit because I made this hours ago and I left it out to show you. The solid is good because you don't want it, of course you don't want it hot. We're going to fill the ice cream with this. And you don't want it too solid because you want to have a nice surprise when you bite into that ice cream, when you dig into that. So that's the ganache. And then the last ingredient you will need is cacao powder or cocoa powder. I use raw cacao powder in my daily life. I eat it every single day. So you'll need some of that. And you can see my tools here, the whisk, which I'm going to use right now. So you see that the chocolate chips have started to melt. So now I'm just going to stir this, and it's already a ganache. So easy. I love easy, decadent recipes. Okay, so now that this is melted, you're just going to pour it into a heat-resistant bowl, right? Because you don't want anything to crack while you're doing this. And then we're just going to set it aside to cool. If you're making this at home, you want it to cool for about an hour or so. You can put it in the fridge or the freezer to do that. But I'm going to set it aside because I already have it ready. Now, the next step here is the fun part, the assembly. So what we'll do is so I have these heart-shaped forms because it's Valentine's Day, and I wanted to make something that's commemorating this day of love. But the traditional recipe for this is you take, and you can do this at home if you don't have forms. If you don't have a form, you can even use a bowl like this or a bigger one, depending on how much ice cream you want to eat. But the traditional is you wear gloves, of course, you're not freezing your hands, and you just shape the ice cream in your hand like this, like you would like a vegan meatball. And then I'll tell you the steps. I'll tell you the next step, the rustic part, but I'm going to show you how to put it into these molds. See, it's nice and soft now. This ice cream is, I don't know, it's just cashew based. So it's kind of a little bit flaky. It's not creamy, it's delicious. So now you see it's a little bit creamier now that I've left it out. So what I'm going to do is fill one of my heart shapes with it and just kind of smush it down, lining the heart-shaped mold with the ice cream. So can you see this? Let me lift it up to the, so we're shaping it, and you see I'm leaving kind of a little bit of a, you can tell I'm leaving a little bit of a crevice in there. It's kind of concave, not totally flat. But you want to fill, if you're using a shape like this, a mold, you do want to fill in the sides so that when you're done, it gets that pretty mold shape for presentation. So I have the, okay, so now I have the ice cream in there shape. It's so soft, it's beautiful. Okay, so you see it's concave. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill it in a little bit more because you don't want a whole like mouthful of ganache. You just want a little kind of, ganache surprise when you dig into this. So excuse me, I'm using my fingers.
Now, I just want to say something fabulous about you because you are so fabulous. Lucia's vegan lifestyle, everybody. She is going to wow you with her content. You're going to want to head over there. I'll show you how, but back to what you're making. This is so incredible. What a love-filled dish. Take it away.
So now we're going to take the ganache, right? And maybe like a half a teaspoon. And you see mine is solidified. I think you wanted a little bit more liquid than this, but this is fine. So you just dollop it into the center of your heart. Chocolate in the center of your heart. And then you just seal it. So as I was saying to you, the rustic original version of this recipe is made by hand. So what you would do then, if you're shaping it by hand, like I told you, like the meatball, you would make the ice cream, the vegan ice cream meatball, and then you would either with a spoon or your thumb make a hole in it, put your ganache in, and then you seal the deal. You seal your heart with more ice cream. You seal it up nicely, like so. Sorry, I'm gonna lick my finger because this is too delicious. Excuse me. So good. All right, you see that? It's messy, but you see now it's flat onto the thing. So then you put this in the freezer for about 3 hours so that it refreezes. And when you're done, these molds are great. So if you have a mold or if you're using a bowl, it doesn't matter. When you see that it's frozen, you'll be able to tell because it'll be the same consistency as your ice cream out of the container. So you either invert the mold onto a plate that you want to serve it on, or invert your bowl, your little dish. I'll show you how. One second. Whoop. So if you're using it like a bowl, you just do this, turn it upside down, and then loosen it like that. And then you'll have the pretty sphere of the gelato, the ice cream. And if you're using these silicone molds are great because they basically just peel out. That's why I love them. And these are vegan molds as well. There's no animal product in that, no latex, so it's great. And then you invert it onto your plate, and then you just dust. I'll show you how to do this because it's melting, so it's ready to eat. You know what I'm doing as soon as we turn this camera off, right? So then you just take a little bit of the cacao powder. Let me do it this way. A little bit. You pour a little in there, and then you just dust your beautiful. Oh, you can't see that. Hold on. And then you just dust your beautiful tartufo with cacao powder. Shall we look inside and see how this turned out? Let's see.
Drum roll, everybody. Dun, 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 dun. This is made with heart, chocolate, and love. So beautiful, Lucia.
Thank you.
Just
Let's taste it.
how does it taste?
Mm-hmm. Mm. It tastes like love. Tartufo di Gelato from Pizzo Calabria, a recipe from the 1950s that I have veganized for you for Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much for joining us here, everybody, on Lunch Break Live, Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. Head on over, find more deliciousness on her socials. This recipe and more, and her previous shows are all over on our unchainedtv.com. You'll find us there and more. Again, Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. Follow her, please. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Last words to you, my dear.
Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day. And let me know what you think of this recipe if you make it. And if you do make it, take photos and tag us. Tag Unchained TV and Lucia Vegan Lifestyle.
See you next time.